This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
I'm Brityne Rucker, and this is Ag AM in Kansas. I am at the 2020 Young Farmers and Ranchers Conference in Manhattan, and with me now I have Jay Hill, and you were the keynote speaker on focusing on empowering individuals to achieve goals in trying times, especially producers. Now, Jay, what is your top 3 things that producers can focus on to be successful in farming?
I think the biggest thing that we've got to look at right now is just being able to diversify ourselves. The status quo of what we do as farmers and ranchers is one of those things that I think that we've got to continue to push the boundaries on. I think to be successful, we have to change the system that we're in. If someone's going to sit here and actually think that the agricultural system that we're living in today as a price taker instead of a price maker is going to work, I think we have to figure out truly what we can do to change that. And then the third thing is changing that and the status quo through leadership. Having people that are going to necessarily ask the tough questions, that are willing to walk into the boardroom and say, listen, this is not working. Just because our generation before us and the generation before them were doing the same thing, it's time for us to actually take a hard look at what we need to do to change the future of agriculture. And so I always hope that my message comes across as one that's going to inspire somebody to do something that's going to create positive change. At the same time, I think it's really, really important that we kind of look at where we're at in the world economy and understanding, is agriculture doing well right now? And we're not. And so we've got to change it. And the only way we can change it is to actually start to balk a system that's put us where we are today.
Yeah, and that really ties into the event, the Young Farmers and Ranchers here in Manhattan. So why are these events, and you kind of touched on it, important to the industry?
We have to, I think, like Farm Bureau and other agencies like Farm Bureau have not done the farmer any favors by just saying, come tell your story to farmers.
Yep. Because
if we sit here and we just preach to the choir, this is where we start to see this great big, build up on social media of, oh, poor farmers. They're just, life is just so bad to be a farmer right now. It's our fault. The reason that we're here today in this situation is not because our president got into a trade war. The problem is our industry has set us up in a way that we're going to be a price taker instead of a price maker. And so these events are so pivotal, and I just hope that somewhere out in the crowd somewhere, that leader is going to stand up and say, you know what? Yeah, exactly. What we're going to do is we're going to take the fight right back to the industry, and we're going to change what the status quo is.
And really getting out of that grandpa mindset of, generations did it before us. I mean, that's a big thing that you focused on today.
Absolutely, and I think there's so much to learn from the people that came before us, and honoring and understanding the heritage and respect that comes with those that have gone through ups and downs like we're going through now. But at the same time, the reason that they were successful is because they didn't row the same boat that their grandfathers rowed before them, and if they did, then it leaves the person of the generation today in even a worse spot. So I'm hoping that we see some people that get inspired, that we see change, that we start to see some of our big check-off programs and our boards and things like that to start really taking a look at, is this working? And if it's not working, then what are we doing to change it? Instead of just saying, well, we're going to build particle board out of soybeans or whatever it's going to be, we need to actually start looking at something at how do we change and shape the industry based on farming. And if it's not working, stop.
Right. And I mean, you really implemented that in your operation.
Yeah, absolutely. And if something does not work, then we're out.
Right.
And that's the thing, is you can't let your pride get into the play with this. And that's the hardest thing that we all do is, almost going broke in 2011, thinking about, what they're going to line my equipment up and sell it right in front of me is a humbling thing to go through. And for me to actually look back at it now and say, okay, I understand the mistakes that we've made, but we've got to push, and we've got to push in a way that's going to open an industry up to more success. And we're seeing that. It's the grumbling is starting to roar a little bit more, and that's what I hope to see.
Right, exactly. And that's the whole purpose of this Young Farmers and Ranchers Conference. A big thank you to Jay Hill, as he was the keynote speaker at the 2020 Young Farmers and Ranchers Conference here in Manhattan. I'm Brityne Rucker, and this has been Ag AM in Kansas.